Welcome to Talking Jets. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I am joined alongside my co-pilots. I've got Matt, the quality in O'Leary, and Green Bean, the Jets fan. Boys, how you doing tonight? Matt, I'm going to throw it to you first.
Good in Jets world. In my own personal world, not loving my setup here. I was telling these guys, I have a video uploading on my computer. I got 2 hours left on the upload. Started about an hour ago. So I'm going off the phone, and I only have one outlet in here, and it's by the bed. So this is how it's going to be.
I love it. I love it. Green Bean, How are you doing tonight?
Well, Matt, right to your left ear, there's a little like carving in the mattress. Is that something nice, or is that a chip in the wood? What do we got? Yeah.
I think we got a little
Help
pattern.
me, I can't get out.
See?
That's what's carved into it? Let me out of this.
Right.
Let me out of this room.
I'm being held hostage. Yeah, well, that is nice then. See, I don't know.
If you look,
it's a nice place.
Yeah, if you could tell, just to Matt's right, if you look at the post, you could see where the handcuffs were tied to the bed.
Exactly.
Yeah. If we get bored later, I can give you a tour. It's something.
Yeah, we got to see that. Yeah.
All right. So, boys and girls, if you want to get qualified for our t-shirt giveaway, we're going to give away 2 shirts at the end of the stream because last week's shirt was supposed to be given out, but for some reason I got booted off my own live stream, and these guys were able to keep hosting.
Yeah, that's right.
Like as beautifully as it was. I don't know if you guys watched the end of last week's live stream, but it was like Matt's like, "Oh, Ryan says he's not in here. I don't know how we're live." Oh yeah, ended right on that. I was like, you could not have timed that better.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was absolutely fantastic. So 2 shirts being given out this week. For every 25 likes we get on the video, we're going to pick a qualifier in the chat. All you have to do is comment throughout the live stream and hang out with us, and you will be qualified. And then all the qualifiers from last week's t-shirt giveaway, you're going to be entered into the first t-shirt. The second t-shirt is going to be for everyone that comments on this one, so you don't get screwed by having so many people commenting on this. So, all right. There's a lot to get into. I feel like a lot happened in the last week here. But I guess we'll start on our most recent game, and that is the Jets putting a beat down on the Bengals 34-31. I am all sorts of jazzed up, and I want to know how you guys feel about it. Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
Where the hell did that come from? Right? Like, low expectations going into the game for obvious reasons. And Mike White just balling out, leads the league in passing yards this week. What? But seriously, like, he just executed the game plan to perfection. I thought LaFleur was much better. I know that there are a lot of people online who are saying that this is like all Mike White and LaFleur didn't really have that much to do with it. I don't know if I really buy that too much. I thought that they were much more aggressive, especially on early downs. And the defense came up with some timely plays. Quinn Williams' sack early on in the game on 4th down. The Shaq Lawson interception kept him in it. So, yeah, 31 points isn't great, but in big moments they were good. And it was just a fun game all around.
So Matt said, where the heck did this come from? And I don't know if you guys saw this. I saw Rockaway Archie post this I think it was in the chat. I'm pretty sure it was Rockaway Archie. Some dude bet $1,000 this week that Mike White would be the league leader in passing yards. No. And he won $126,000.
Yeah!
On that $1,000 bet. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had $1,000 I could just like willy-nilly throw around on like totally obscure thing. Like, how wealthy is this dude to be able to drop $1,000 on Mike White?
I was gonna say, how many other of those like random bets do you think he lost? Where it's like, I don't know, Daniel Brown leads the league in receiving yards.
I know, right?
Week 6. Yeah.
I hope it's not. I hope it's less than 120 of them, so he could still come out in the black.
That's all where I was going.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, that's exactly where I was going. Green Bean, how are you feeling about this victory now that we've had 2 days to digest it?
I think it's fantastic, man. I mean, look, there was a lot of little things that changed. Obviously, we had a different quarterback in, and that can't be understated. A guy with, he's bounced around. He's kind of he's paid his dues in many respects in the tough lane of the NFL. He's been cut 11 times on 5 different teams. That's the kind of stuff that gets you to realize when you have an opportunity what it's worth. You know what I mean? So he probably understands the value of getting an opportunity to start, maybe more than Zach, the number 2 overall pick. Position was kind of handed to him. He's trying to be a gunslinger and all that kind of shit. So that obviously had some bearing, clearly. But I think, and I can't say this enough, we have been calling for LaFleur to go in the box all season. After like game 2, it was like, okay, great. You want him on the field. From that point on, it was like, just get him in the booth. If he's comfortable up there, get him up there. And somebody brought up one of the comments on my videos. I wish I could remember who it was. It was really good, man. They said, I could imagine that LaFleur being such like a young rookie, short, like all those things on the sideline, standing around all these guys he's not using. There's probably a lot of dynamics down there that are impacting his, like how he governs himself, like kind of being amongst everybody rather than just like sitting alone in the booth, do your little routines, be the fucking weird haired wizard. Like you could do anything you want up there. And I think that was a good point. Like I was talking about maybe Kavanaugh not being comfortable enough on the sideline to kind of step on his toes. Hey, LaFleur's the boss. I just do what he wants me to do. But if you leave Kavanaugh on the field and he kind of runs that area, I'm sure he's all over the place. And I noticed him before I knew LaFleur was in the booth, like first drive. I noticed that Kavanaugh was meeting Mike White on the field, like on the sideline. He seemed more animated. And I said that to my son. I said, hey, look at Kavanaugh. He's all over the place today. And then a couple minutes later, I found out that LaFleur was in the box. So all those things I think really do have merit, man. Like that's the stuff that makes all the difference. And I'm happy that they did it because it shows that maybe we have a staff that is okay with making a choice. Staying true to it for an extensive, a certain length of time. Make sure that they give it its time, but then saying, okay, that's not working. Let's try this. And that would give me a lot more hope for this staff. It's only one game, but I'm enjoying it, man. I was very impressed, and I'll leave more of the details till later. But dude, I liked it from the first snap. I said, this is like me and my son were standing up for the first half hour. Like, why? My wife's like, why aren't you sitting? I'm like, I don't know. We're just standing here in front of the TV like idiots. And like, so it had that feel from the minute it started.
So I'll do you one better. I liked it from the coin flip, and coaching was the biggest thing. From the coin flip, you wind up winning the toss and you say, hey, we got throttled last week. We were down 14 points before Zach Wilson took his first pass attempt. This week, we're going to take the ball. We're going to elect to receive, and Mike White's going to run down the field, and we're going to score a touchdown. And that was the tone setter for the entire game. And on top of that, I love the LaFleur going into the booth thing. And I got to give Jets BB a real big shout out because he was on the Jet Nation forums, and I don't know, Green Bean, if you wound up seeing this thread or not, but he was the one that posted the John Beck still shot next to Joe Flacco, and everyone's like, oh, I think that is John Beck. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's like Zach Wilson's quarterback coach. And we're going back and forth. We're looking at like actual pictures. And we're like, I think that's what's going on. And then we find out today that John Beck has been brought on into the team. Now, they didn't say a position. They just said he was like hired by the Jets. I don't know if he's officially the quarterback coach or if he's got some other type of title. I think my only concern with that is that Zach may not be able to actually go see him in the offseason, which I guess if you have him all throughout the season, maybe it's not as big of a deal. But coaching-wise, LaFleur being in the booth, absolutely massive. The presence on the sideline with Kavanaugh and Beck and Flacco, I think all three of them played a really nice part for the sideline culture there. Salah was animated. If I had to say one knock on the coaching staff was the one non-challenge on the T. Higgins catch down the field that wound up. Yeah, it was 3rd and 6. Yep. And they wound up not challenging it. And you had some time. Like you should have just thrown it or at least waved it around, got some clarity to give yourself a little more time. But overall, I thought this was a well-coached game. I thought the play calling was phenomenal. Cincinnati has a really good defensive front, so calling a lot of screens really kept the Bengals off balance, and they weren't able to pin their ears back the way we kind of got to see with some other defenses. And the whole time I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, man, why do they not call this sort of stuff for Zach Wilson? And I think it makes me feel good. One, that I think we have the right coaching staff because they were able to adjust some stuff. And two, once Zach Wilson figures out the rookie kind of hiccups and everything, I think he's going to be incredibly good. Like, that's the takeaway I had from seeing Mike White perform so well in this type of offense. Matt, what do you think about all that that I just shot out there?
No, I think you bring up a good point. A lot of people, at least in my DMs and voicemails and stuff like that, you'll find out on Just Jets tomorrow. You have some people with some pretty bold takes after 4 quarters of quarterbacking. But I agree that I think once Wilson kind of gets the simple things out of the way and gets out of his head a little bit, and maybe this is like the perfect example where he can sit back for 2-3 weeks and watch Mike White just execute. And I mean, let's be honest. I think we'd all be stunned if Mike White went out and threw for 400 yards again on Thursday. But if he just looks, I don't know, competitive, and then Zach comes in, is more willing to check the ball down, is getting the ball out quicker, then I think that's just a positive sign in the development. And I don't think this has to be any kind of controversy or a knock on Zach Wilson's performance early on. I just think it's part of the learning process as a rookie.
Greenby, what about you? How do you feel about all that?
Yeah, well, to talk about that non-flag call too, I mean, that was a rough one because they ended up scoring right after. I think those are the types of things that, where a rookie coach has, little, real-time impact. I mean, I think a guy like maybe Belichick or even Vrabel, somebody who's been around a few minutes, might have been a little bit more aggressive with that, and they would have won. And it sucks because, dude, Bryce Hall's coverage, he was blanketed on him. He was right there, man. It was one of those things where it was just an amazing catch. Bryce Hall lost it that last split second, but he was right there, and then he ended up not catching it anyway. So it would have been nice to kind of reward Hall with that, but it is what it is. And that's the kind of stuff that we're going to have to learn. Now, as far as, like Mike White, the game plan, I think the game plan was good, but I think it goes both sides. Like I see the real Wilson fans, the guys who were like just yelling his name all through the draft process, are taking this really personally, right? Like they're, hey, Wilson would have, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think we need to do any of that. All these fucking media guys talking about a quarterback controversy, dude, they're making it up. There is no controversy. Wilson can't play right now. He cannot play. So there's no controversy. We're not choosing White. If you want to talk about White over Flacco, maybe there's a controversy there. We just traded a 6th for Flacco and all that. Maybe you can talk about that. Wilson can't play for probably another 3 weeks, right? They said approximately 4 weeks, they said. So, and they were planning for the worst. So if Mike White plays all 4 games and throws for 300 or above every game, when Wilson's healthy, you have a decision to make. Right now, he's the backup quarterback. He came in, played as good as you could possibly ask for a backup quarterback, and there's nothing to talk about. Everything else is hearsay and craziness, man. But that being said, look, if Zach sits on the bench and sees what the offense could look like, because let's be real here, as much as I support Zach, he couldn't hit those screens. There was a problem. There was a disconnect. Now, I don't think LaFleur did a very good job bringing him up. Like we've talked about this, and I'm really critical of LaFleur, but there was a lot of plays where Zach could have just hit the guy, and he didn't. And numerous times where the drive stalled because of Zach Wilson. So I think having that time to sit back, cool off, watch Mike White in the offense is going to be to his benefit. More than likely, Mike White's not going to throw for 300 every week. He's probably not going to win these games. Probably. So it's not going to be a thing. We just want the guy to come in. We want the team to be able to look good. We want to be able to see what the offense looks like. And so far, we're able to do that. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just enjoy it. Nothing's personal. Nothing's anything. There's no controversy.
Oh, there's plenty of controversy, Greenby, and I got a bone to pick with you because you were the one telling me that Zach Wilson and his teammates, for whatever reason, they were not fired up when he wound up getting hit. And
they weren't.
Tell me that they weren't. I know they weren't. You're flat out right. But how can you say there's definitely no controversy right now when you see how excited Ty Johnson is and like all these players about Mike White and his performance? And look, I'm on the side of like Zach Wilson's going to be our guy. I don't believe that White will be able to keep this up. But if he continues to keep it up, what winds up happening? This could be, a good issue that we wind up having for the first time in like a long time. I just want a quarterback. I don't care how we wind up getting it. So
they were the same way. They were the same way after the Titans game. They were just as happy for Zach sending Corey Davis down to the end of the, to the end zone. Everybody was the same way. Of course they're excited, and they should be. But I think that them not coming to his aid or, making a big deal, while that bothered all of us, that was the whole game. They were dead the whole game. Like, they didn't show passion at any point in that game, it seemed to me. I mean, it wasn't like that was one play. Like, they were all out there playing their asses off. Zach got hurt and nobody showed up. That wasn't an isolated incident. It was the whole game. They seemed like they weren't even interested in being there. Like, they were waiting for the clock to expire. Now, I'm aware too. I see how excited they are for Mike White. I see how supportive they are and all that. But again, it looks very similar to how supportive they were and how psyched they were when Zach Wilson threw those touchdown bombs down the field in the Titans game.
So Girth Brooks, that's a very dirty name for your genitals, but thank you anyway, says, great show, guys. Matt looks super comfortable. Let's go, Brandon. Matt does look comfortable.
He does. I like it.
Comfortable. He's nice and laid back. Looks like he's got some comfy pillows there.
Sure. Yeah, I'm scared to put a black light on him, but sure.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, don't mess around.
Anything, Matt? Anything feel crusty to you?
Not yet.
Oh, jeez. Oh, not yet. Jeez, you dirty dog, you. All right. So let's talk specifically about Mike White. He goes 37 of 45, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's me singing. Bam. Bottle it up. iTunes. I don't even know if iTunes is still a thing anymore. Okay. So how are we feeling about Mike White and his potential to maybe be more than just a quarterback? He's a free agent at the end of this season, a restricted free agent, so you can wind up tendering him. What do we expect to see from him Thursday night? Do we think he'll be able to put up pseudo similar numbers, or is this like a flash in the pan and we could just kind of move on after this week? Matt, I'll throw it to you.
So I think my biggest thing that I'm looking for is how he's able to adjust, because now there's a week of film on him, and a majority of the things that he was doing was underneath stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. When you have a backup quarterback, you kind of have to simplify the offense, which I thought, LaFleur did. His average depth of target was just over 4 yards. So it was really underneath. Like, Greenby always laughs at the video that I made accurate as hell under 10 yards and in. That was Mike White this past week.
Yeah, right.
But if I'm Indianapolis, now I'm stacking the box. I'm getting as many guys up towards the line of scrimmage as possible and saying, okay, beat me deep now. And on his one shot to Elijah Moore, he missed him by a mile. It wasn't even close. So my thing is, how do you adjust? Are you able to connect on those 15-plus yard throws down the field, and now you're a little bit more dangerous, or is that going to become an issue? And, we're going to look at a 120-yard performance because they have 10 guys in the box all night.
Greenby, what about you? How are you feeling about Mike White, and is he going to be able to duplicate or pseudo-duplicate his performance from this past week?
Well, Matt brings up a good point, man. I mean, nobody knew what Mike White was gonna bring. And everybody, including myself, expected them to try to be run heavy. Mike White talked about it after the game and said that Mike LaFleur called him and said, "Hey, everybody thinks we're gonna run. We're gonna come out passing." You know what I mean? For that exact reason, and I think that's really cool. But now, like Matt said, they know that he didn't do so well in the deep game. Everything was putting the ball in the playmakers' hands, lots and lots of checkdowns, lots of screens, all those kinds of plays, which is fine. But like Matt said, now they know that that's what he excelled at. Let's take that away, and we don't know how he's going to do. That said, I think playing on Thursday night, that they don't have a full week, I think that's to our benefit right now. I'm happy that Mike White did great on Sunday, and we're coming right. Like, they're probably still going to come in buzzing, believing in themselves. They don't even have enough time to forget the feeling of the win. So I like that it's Thursday night. The Indianapolis Colts are an imperfect team, and I think that this can be a good game, which is all I really want to see. Now, again, Zach Wilson can't play. If he could, I imagine he'd be playing. If Mike White makes it for, let's say it's 4 weeks, if he wins these games and plays, lights out for 4 weeks, then we have a decision to make. But right now, I'm not too worried about it. But I do hope that he can. I'm rooting for him, man. I'm not rooting for any one guy on our team. I'm rooting for the Jets. And whatever the Jets need to do to win, I'm totally on board with. And I hope that this Thursday night game that he fucking throws for 500 yards. That's what I want to see.
Nothing would make us all happier. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm watching this whole game and I'm like, okay, a lot of his passes. Let me see if I still have the sticky note. I have a sticky note here. Bam. I calculated where his passes went. So 12 of them were behind the line of scrimmage. 16 were within 5 yards, and then there was 16 from 5 yards and out. 8 below the 10 yards and 8 over the 10 yards. So lots of stuff around the line of scrimmage. So like Matt said, I do want to see him try to complete some balls down the field. I do think the Colts have a very good defense, especially sideline to sideline. So I don't think he will have those easy plays quite so much as he did this past week. And I think the Bengals, I don't know if they just tried to I don't know. I guess they just tried to tee off on a young quarterback, just send a lot of pressure, and it just, really did not work out well for them. So we'll see how it winds up going. Our buddy, the Sneaky Turtle, drops into the super chat. He says, Mike White is very experienced player. Through watching on the sidelines, he's ready. Mike was drafted by Cowboys. Correct. Mike White was drafted by the Cowboys. And he's had, it was 2018, so he had the 18, 19, 20, and I guess this season to kind of sit and just sort of digest the game, where Zach Wilson is getting thrown in after not facing any Power 5 schools and all this other stuff. I think the ability to sit and learn on the sidelines is something really important for a rookie quarterback. So I think it's almost a blessing in disguise that Zach is sitting on the sideline. Now, obviously, you don't want anything to happen with the knee, but right. Matt, how much do you think the experience that Mike White has sitting on the sideline helped him in Sunday's game?
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then at this point, Christian Hackenberg should be an All-Pro by next year. Right.
Right. I heard.
I don't know if I don't know how much that really plays a role in this. I will say I know that he's a hard worker from everything that I've read on him, and obviously he's prepped. He's been with the team for a while, practice squad up and down a bunch last year. So he's been with the team, and the guys clearly like him. And I think it's because of the effort that he puts in. And he just executed a game plan to perfection. So I don't know if it's so much of, he sat, so that's why he was good. I think it was more so, I just think he was prepared. That's all.
What about you, Green Bean? How are you feeling about this?
I agree. I mean, look, is it beneficial to be on NFL squads, kind of, being around? Absolutely. But don't forget, he played in some preseason games too. Like he does have a little bit of experience, but I don't think like him sitting on the bench, for 3 years makes him ready. I think that a lot of guys come off the bench after years and they suck. And we've seen most of them. I think most of those guys have made their way through the Jets at some time or another. Very rare does a backup quarterback come in and look good for us. Let's just make sure. And when they do, it's even more rare that continues. Like, Trudeau back in the day had one half of good football. Everybody started screaming he was better than Boomer Esiason and all kinds of stuff like that. So, look, I'm just as excited as anybody else. Like I said, I'm enjoying it and everything. But being a Jets fan for as long as I have, it causes me to pump the brakes and look, I'm psyched. I'm happy. I loved it. I'm totally rooting for him to be our Tom Brady moment. Totally. But chances are that's not going to happen. So just be aware. Just be ready. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Ant Jets 82 says, Leary coming to us from a Bob's commercial. Got me sold. Looks like you should be collecting some commission there.
What's a Bob's commercial? What's Bob's?
Bob's Furniture.
Yeah, Bob's Discount Furniture.
Oh, yep. Okay, there you guys. It's probably local guy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not local.
He can't be that local. He's Bob's. He's got like a zillion stores.
He doesn't have any down here, buddy. I'll tell you right now.
Well,
you guys heard
we're
of
not
bad
buying
cock
furniture for an
furniture?
RV.
We got bad cock furniture. That's what we got.
That I don't know.
Yeah, see? Bad cock. So you mean like it's a bad cock commercial. I get it. Yeah.
You got Green Bean's got bad cock commercials down there?
That's what it is. Bad cock furniture. Literally spelled like it sounds, buddy.
I still got beef with
No
Bob.
way. No way. That's a
Well, you guys think like
Last name.
PC Richards, right? You know how in the stadium they go and everybody knows what it is? My wife has no idea what that is. That's literally north. That's New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. That's nowhere else, PC Richards.
So does
I'm a
Bad
world
Cock have a like a theme song that you could jingle for us?
No.
I was really hoping you were going to say yes.
Yeah.
I know. I was trying to. I was going to make something, but I don't know. I was probably going to fail, so I chose otherwise.
Oh, jeez. Patrick Dunn drops in with a super chat. He says, Bengals play a lot of cover to zone. Colts play a lot of man. White will not have the same type of game. Depends on the play calling adjustments. Yeah, this will be an interesting test, right? They now have tape on Mike White. I think, like Green Bean said before, this being a Thursday night game probably gives us a slight advantage having the young quarterback. But it's going to be interesting how you adapt your offense to reflect the changes that the Colts might make.
Yeah.
So are you going to continue with these little screens, or did you just do that because you were trying to neutralize a pass rush from the Bengals? So I would like to see the ball go a little bit further down the field, but again, take what the defense has given you. Matt, how do you think we may try to change our offense this Thursday?
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to have to try to get the ball down the field a little bit more. It's something that they really didn't do that much of at all. As you laid out, most of the throws were 5 yards and in, which is, again, fine. And it worked against that defense. But Patrick's right here. They're going to have to, adjust the play calling in terms of what the game plan is for this one. What I will say, though, that I liked and that I hope they continue, the jet sweeps to Elijah Moore, I think, is something that I would continue to try to work in, and maybe even like a play action off that or a read option kind of a thing off that. I think could be a good way to get a defense that's aggressive to maybe over pursue a little bit.
Greenby, what about you? What do you hope that the Jets do this Thursday night?
Hope we win. I'd like to see the continuation of like our defensive backs doing a good job with these premier receivers. Like you guys remember, we were talking draft. I was a Michael Pittman guy. You know what I mean? Like he was one of the receivers that I really liked a whole bunch. And he's great, man. He's a solid receiver. I respect the hell out of that guy. And he's dangerous. But look, Bryce Hall has done a good job. He's not perfect. He's not there yet, but he's done a really good job. I think to a lesser degree, but still good. Eccles, Michael Carter's fantastic. So I'd like to see our guys be able to contain. I think T.Y. Hilton's not playing. Did I hear that somewhere?
Yeah, that's correct.
Which would be, that would be good news. So that helps. And I don't really care. You know what I mean? Like, again, we have so many injuries. I don't want to cry over the one guy that some other teams I don't care. If he's not playing, good. You know what I mean? Not that it's good that he's injured, but good that he's not playing. You know what I mean? But I would like to see that. I'd like to see a pass rush. I'd like to see some more Quinnen Williams, who came up so big on that fourth down stand by the goal line. They were trying to set the tone for the game right there, man. They were trying to say, okay, great. They scored. They're stopping us. We're going to show them who's boss right now. And he popped up and sacked his ass. And that's what you want from a guy that we all have hope for becoming one of the better defensive tackles in the league. They got to come up big when you need them, not just some middle, first minute of the second quarter, first down. Like that's bullshit. Fourth down on the goal line, boom, sack. That's what I want to see. So I'd like to see Quinnen, the defensive line. I'd like to see some more Jabari Zuniga sightings and stuff like that. I'm really big on the defense right now, in addition to the offense. But that's kind of what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see us be able to contain them, put some pressure, and our defensive backs contain these receivers because Pittman's good.
All right, guys, we have 4 qualifiers already for tonight's shirt. All you have to do is leave a like on this video. If you're listening to this after the fact, leave a comment on this video to be qualified for next week's shirt. Zachary Berner, Big Block Joe, Larry Romano, and Joe S. The 4 of you guys are qualified right now. And for every 25 likes, we'll qualify another person. So make sure you guys are hanging out in the chat with us, and we'll give away those shirts at the end of this stream. Big Joe drops in with a super chat. Thank you, dude. He says, are any of you surprised that the Jets made no significant trades using May, Crowder, or Mims? So the Jets wind up making a trade. The only trade I guess two trades they made before the deadline was the Flacco trade with the Eagles, giving up a 6th-round pick, and then trading for the guard from Kansas City, Laurent Devaney Tadif. I don't know if I pronounced that right. LTD is what I'm calling him. We got too many hyphens across our name, across our team. Are you guys surprised that the Jets didn't go out and try to make a bigger move, like trading a Mims, trading a Crowder, trading a May? Matt, I'll throw it to you first.
The only one of these three that I was surprised with was May. I really thought that was, the writing was on the wall there, especially because I don't think he played particularly well, or Ashton Davis was also awful. Safeties in general did not play well this past week. So I kind of just thought, like, all right, he knows his time's over. Like, they're kind of just running out the clock here. Crowder and Mims, I wasn't anticipating them to get moved. I think with Crowder, they're just going to kind of run it out for the rest of the year and make life easy on your young quarterback, have as many weapons as possible kind of a thing. Where with Mims, like, I don't know, I just can't give up on someone this early in his career. I thought he had a good game other than the drop. That was obviously unacceptable. That can't happen, but I'm not giving up on him, as you guys know.
Yeah, I was a little surprised we didn't make some moves. Crowder, I would have thought we would have held on to because of the young quarterback, give him as many weapons as possible. Mims, I didn't think was ever going to get traded. Apparently, we had calls for Mims and for May. The May one, I was a little surprised. I think because we won, the team was kind of riding this euphoric rush of emotions, and I think trading away a player like a May, who's a leader on your defense, is probably sending the opposite message to your team. And the Jets already have 9 picks. So if they weren't getting a draft pick of value back for May, I think it's probably the right move, because as we've seen with Joe Douglas, his trades have been phenomenal. So if he decides not to trade someone, I kind of look at that and think, okay, we weren't getting the value that we were hoping to get out of said player. Green Bean, how do you feel about the Jets not making any major trades, from some of our own guys?
Yeah, I think when all this stuff started coming out, with May's agent, I thought it was, really likely that we moved him. But as things kind of progressed with the DUI, which definitely lowered his value, definitely, without question. And then he got the injury that lowered his value, even though he came back and everything. But those things, they tend to just lessen a little bit. And I'm not surprised, only because when you look at our safety room, Ashton Davis hasn't, look at Matt, huh? Look at him. He's got a new seat. You can only lay down for so long, right, man?
No, I wanted to check on my video, make sure that we were okay. Hour 14 to go.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
There you go.
Just so you guys know, 𝐒𝐿'𝐞𝐞𝐫𝐢 dropped in and said, why does Matt look so cute right now? So I had to throw that up there.
There he is.
I didn't mean to take you away from your thoughts, Green Bean, but it made me smile, so I didn't care.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, but I wouldn't say surprised, only because that the lineage of events since all that shit came out with his agent has, it's been negative. You know what I mean? So maybe the value, maybe people are offering like a 5th or something. And with the fact that our safety play, look, number one, we've been decimated. Number two, it's been like a rotating door. You know what I mean? With safeties, and Ashton Davis doesn't look like he's settled yet. May might be more valuable to this team than a future 5th or 4th or whatever it might be, because not for nothing, at the end of the year you can tag him and trade him anyway. You know what I mean? And you can still do that. It's still not off the table if you want to do that. So anyway, I'm not surprised. I thought something would happen, and something did. A little smaller, but I like it. I think it's a fantastic move. Not the Flacco one. That is what it is. But the one that happened today, I think it's a great move. But I wouldn't say I'm surprised, even though I don't know. I wavered, but I don't know. I'm not surprised because of everything that happened.
Robbie drops in with a super chat. Thank you, Robbie. He says, I know it sounds weird. It hurt watching White do well. Others agree. Watching the game, it seemed like offense plays harder for White than they do for Wilson. So this is kind of what we were talking about before. Is there some type of disconnect or something that's going on? Is White just a more experienced player and the other players on the offense just sort of have a bit more respect for him, where Wilson is the young buck, high draft pick coming out of college. Maybe he has to earn his stripes before he gets the same type of love. Now, of course, you don't want to see that. But, Matt, did you feel like the offense played harder for White than Wilson?
No. I just think they executed better, to be honest with you. And something else that kind of jumped out to me, too, like think about the really bad performances and bad games from this year. Every single one of them on the road. The first home game, pretty much the entire team except for Zach Wilson played well. The second home game was the Tennessee game, where they all kind of came together in the second half. And then the third home game, just this past week, was against Cincinnati, where they all played well. So I think this is more so just like a young team who hasn't really figured it out yet on how to play on the road. And maybe they're just feeding off the energy of the crowd right now.
Green, what about you? Do you think the offense played harder?
Yeah, no, I don't either. I think I can totally understand why people are drawing the conclusions they are. Like, I see it too, but I think people have a really kind of focused view on things. Like, they look at it right here and they go, well, that must mean this or that. Like I said, I saw the same excitement after the Tennessee game. And like Matt just said, I don't think they played harder, but something happens. Like, if Zach was able to hit those screens and stuff that he just flat out missed, right? Whatever the reasons, then the drives continue, then things start to settle down. When you go up in 3, down in 3, 3 drives in a row, people start to get disenchanted, they get disheartened, and then so things stop having potential to grow. Everything just stops, Mike White was able to connect on those little short screens to Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, a little bit to Denzel Mims over here, a little Crowder over there. And then they made plays and the drives were continuing. What that does is it causes, number one, the defense to unpin their ears. Okay. They got to look around, they can't just come. They're not in bloodlust mode. They have to think and all that sort of stuff. But everybody starts realizing, if I just do my job, it's going to work, rather than why am I even out here? That starts to happen, man. Believe me, people get those negative views of things, just like when momentum happens. Momentum is very, very real. You can't quantify it. You can't put a value on it, but it's real. The ball starts bouncing different ways, all kinds of shit. And that's what we saw. Everything was going our way. We even got ref calls out of nowhere, which is that last one was kind of weird. It was like, what? For us? That's what happened? That's the kind of day it was. And again, like Matt said earlier, let's see if the Colts, now they can game plan for Mike White. Let's see what it looks like. Again, I'm enjoying this more than anybody. I love it. I have no problems being psyched for Mike White. But let's just calm down and see how it goes, because if Mike White comes out and throws for $115 and we lose by 20 points, everybody's going to be calling him a loser. And it's let's just, I don't think anybody played harder or anything like that. It just worked. That's it. It just worked.
So I will say this. I do think the team played harder with Mike White in at quarterback, but I don't think it's because of Mike White. I think it's because Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, the whole coaching staff probably lit a fire under them after getting bounced by the New England Patriots. So I think that played a big part in it as well. I think they kind of had a internal reflection type of moment there, and Mike White got the advantage of it for being in at quarterback. Candle Jack, thank you for the super chat. He says, do you think Wilson legitimately beat White out in the offseason? I always assumed he did because White didn't show out like this in training camp. I was actually talking to Robbie Sabo last night, and I don't know if we said this on air or if we were just talking beforehand about the whole Mike White thing. But Robbie was at camp, I believe it was last year as well, and he was like, wow, Mike White looks good. Surprisingly good. So he actually was not as surprised as some other people. Now, he's not jumping to any major conclusions. He thinks that, Zach Wilson is the guy. It's not going to be Mike White anyway, and that, it made sense to start Zach Wilson anyway, being the number 2 overall pick. But I guess,
yeah,
Matt,
remember,
do you think
Connor,
right? We'll go Green Bean.
No, I'm sorry. Just on that point, I didn't want to leave that point because that's such an interesting thing. Because remember, Connor Hughes came out and said Mike White is not an NFL quarterback. Remember all that shit? And everybody buys it. When we were saying we're starting Mike White, everybody was taking that Connor Hughes. I saw that comment 20 times the week, leading up to this game. Everybody's going back to that. And you got to remember, these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sabo on the other end does. Sabo is an excellent football evaluator, man. He's a coach, all those things. You can trust what he's saying. Connor Hughes doesn't know anything. You know what I mean? Connor Ryan, like a lot of these guys, with all due respect to whatever they're good at, I can't find out what it is, but whatever it is they're good at, they don't know what they're talking about. So we just got to watch and watch our team progress and do the things they're doing. LaFleur was in the box, Kavanaugh, John Beck's on the sideline. Zach was up in the booth with LaFleur. Lots of great things are happening, man. And let's hope this can continue to ride a wave. But yeah, man, these guys threw Mike White under the bus. And Sabo was the only one that said anything positive about him. And look, he looked pretty good.
Matt, what about you? Do you think that Wilson actually beat out White in training camp, or how do you feel about that quarterback competition?
Yeah, I mean, from what I wasn't at, training camp day in and day out, but from what I saw in the preseason and what I saw at the green and white, I thought that Zach did beat him out, but of the rest of the bunch, I remember saying Mike White looks clearly the best out of Morgan, and I don't remember if Johnson was there at that point, but I wasn't surprised that he was named QB2. I think that makes sense. And if he turns into a player who could be a long-term backup or just like, a good spot starter, then great. I think that's your most likely scenario here. I don't think this is someone who's going to, have one great week and then be out of the league in a year and a half. And I also don't think this is someone who had one great week and is going to be a superstar in this league. I think, more likely than not, it's just, a good QB2, which is great. You need a player like that.
Yeah, I think for me, the interesting story is going to be how does he perform moving forward? And then let's say Zach gets handed the ball the end of November. He's playing the Texans game as his first game back. And White looked all right, a little shaky, but all right. Looks like there's something to work with. We get to the offseason. He's a restricted free agent. Are we slapping him with the original round tender, which I believe would be a 5th round pick if someone wants to sign him? A 2nd round tender. Maybe we try to get someone to bite on picking him up, and then we get a 2nd round pick. Or do we say, hey, this guy is too valuable, 1st round tender, $5.2 million. Either way, it's going to be a significant pay increase from his $800,000 that he made this year. Matt, I just want to get your thoughts on that real quick.
On the tender, I would. I don't know if I'm going to go as high as a 1st, but I'd have to look at the prices on it. What's the price on a 2nd or 3rd?
Let's see. I'll do that. Green Bean, give me your thoughts while I'm checking this out right now.
I just think it's important to recognize that Kenny Yeboah just got bumped to the active roster. That said, I don't know. I think I'll probably wait and see what Mike White actually is, and I like him. It's so fun. It's actually not easy to stay in the middle here. I'm trying real hard, right? It's not easy because like on one side, it feels like I'm bashing Zach. People say, oh, you fucking never liked Zach. I got that today. You never liked Zach. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What's wrong with you guys? You can't. So I'm trying real hard. I tell you, man, I made the video about comparing Mike White to Tom Brady's situation, even against the Patriots, all that fun stuff. Did I think he was going to come out and ball like that? No, I did not. But it was great. And if he does it again, I said, I'm happy it's Thursday. We might still be able to take him by a little bit of surprise, punch him in the jaw. That would be fantastic. If he plays 4 weeks and he wins those 4 games or really looks good, then the Jets have a tough decision. And then we can start really talking about all that stuff. If he is good, I think you got to keep him. You don't let him go for free. That much I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So Matt, just so you know, original round tender is going to be, or according to Over the Cap, is going to be $2.3 million. 2nd round tender, $3.7 million. 1st round tender, $5.2 million. As of right now, assuming the cap is going to be $208 million, which is totally, I don't think anyone knows what it actually is yet. The Jets are set to have about $52, $53 million in cap space before cuts.
Yeah, I mean, maybe at that point you slap. If he continues to play well, I would probably go up as high as a 2nd. I don't think I'd be able to justify going up as high as a 1st. But this is kind of it's too early to answer that question for real. But it's interesting to think about for sure.
ZZ Gable, thank you so much for the super chat. He says Duvernay. Sorry, I saw someone gave me the pronunciation of it. Duvernay Tardif for Dan Brown is robbery. Joe D wins another one. He should either start or push Greg Van Roten to be better ASAP. Great ad. Yeah, I like this type of swing on a player because Dan Brown was playing special teams for us. I think he had taken 14 offensive snaps. So it's not like we're taking a weapon away from Zach Wilson or Mike White at this point. But you're helping protect both of your quarterbacks that you have on the roster. And I think Tardif, while he didn't play last year because he opted out from COVID, I think this year with Joe Thuney starting over him and then Trey Smith playing lights out. This was the guy that all of us were calling for the third night of the draft. And he's not starting because there's so much depth in front of him and how well they're playing. So you get a guy who's motivated to try and prove that he's worth his next NFL contract after missing a season and a half here. Now his 2019 numbers aren't fantastic. They're probably right on par with Greg Van Roten, but I think the upside, if he can sort of capture his previous years, I think it would be an upgrade and at the very least solid competition for Van Roten. Matt, what are your thoughts on the trade that we made today?
Good. I think it's a good move. Daniel Brown isn't really someone who plays an important role on this roster. And, I said that it was a depth move, and some people online didn't like that because they're like, oh, he's play right now. The guy hasn't played in 2 years. So, maybe at the end of the year he works his way in. But at a minimum, he's someone who has played right tackle. So they need more help. I don't know how comfortable you guys feel about 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢 being someone who's playing right now. And he's been better at guard. It's been a few years since he's played that position. So I don't know if just throwing him in there, not ready to go at this point is the right move. But in a few weeks, maybe he works his way in and replaces Van Roten. Sure.
Green Bean, what about you? How are you feeling about this trade?
I love it. And look, we know that Daniel Brown was a Brant Boyer pick. Player. We know that. But I think, honestly, I think that Kenny Yeboah probably showed that he's a little bit, he might be a little closer to being ready to actually have impact. He plays specials as well. So there's that. But I think there's a lot to this. Just like Matt said, we got to remember that we had great depth at the tackle position, but we're down to our third tackle. Like Becton went out. We don't know when he's coming back. Fant went down. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Maybe you guys can tell me in a minute. I didn't hear how long that one is. And we're down to 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢, who played well and is about as good of a third tackle as you could ask for. That said, there's very little left. So I think you bring this guy in. He's an NFL guard, has started, we know the whole thing. He didn't play last year because of COVID and all that other shit. But don't forget that if 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐞𝐫𝐢 goes down, AVT can be kicked over. It's one of his valuable aspects. AVT can play left tackle. And then now you have a guard that's not named Dan Feeney to come in and potentially fill that spot. And it can be a competition, a real presser for AVT or for GVR as well. I know, right? Too many of these frigging guys. I'm getting confused now. Three-lettered fellas. But I think that the tackle thing shouldn't be understated, man. We're down to our third guy, and McDermott got hurt too. So really, it's our fourth. We're on our fourth tackle right now, which, by the way, we all complain about the depth at right guard. Let's not overlook the depth at tackle, man. We've been hit very, very hard, and we haven't missed too much of a beat there, and that's something that we can credit Joe Douglas with. But again, I think that the AVT to tackle thing, being able to not put Dan Feeney in, is a positive as well.
Yeah, 100%. We were talking about that prior to the season when we made the Morgan Moses pick or when we made the Morgan Moses trade or signing, and the AVT pick itself, with Becton having that kind of in and out of the lineup with the injuries. Having that depth at tackle was really important. And I think this is more foresight from Joe Douglas, knowing that we're just one injury away from having to kick Elijah Vera Tucker out to left tackle.
Right.
So I really like it. Big fan of the move. Again, best case scenario, we get some really strong competition. Worst case scenario, we have some depth.
Yeah.
at the position.
And look, we get to maybe, just maybe the offense is ready to see a little Kenny Yeboah action, a little dynamic pass reception from the tight ends. That can't hurt either, man.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more intriguing things is that Yeboah now has one less guy to be in his way. And now Joe Douglas has traded 2 tight ends this year that have not really done, I don't want to say a whole lot because special teams, probably impacted us more than what we got out of Chris Herndon. But you trade Chris Herndon, you trade Daniel Brown for basically it's Herndon, Brown, and a 6th round pick for Tariff and a 4th round pick. So
not bad.
Overall, pretty happy with the way these trades are going. That's why I'm really not so upset that we didn't trade May, because I think Douglas would have done it if it was worth our while. Patrick Dunn, thank you so much for the super chat, brother. He says, JD will probably fleece another quarterback-hungry team with Mike White. This is a big piece of why we want White to play well, because as much as it creates some internal controversy with Wilson and White, this is something that I think all Jet fans should welcome. I don't mind a divided locker room on 2 up-and-coming quarterbacks. It's when you have the young quarterback and someone like Joe Flacco, where people are like, oh, let's start Joe Flacco, when you have like 36 years old and he's not really providing any long-term stability. But best case scenario is Mike White plays really well. We either slap him with, say, the 2nd round tender and someone gives up a 2nd rounder for him, or we just hold on to him and he rolls into next year. Maybe we give him a 3-year contract worth the average of, say, like, $3 million a year or something along those lines. And we have our backup quarterback that we know can run the system right now. But then using him as a potential trade chip at maybe next year's deadline, if we don't want to give him the extension and we say, hey, screw it, we're going to roll with Wilson and we'll just kind of figure it out from there. I think having White as a potential trade chip is pretty valuable. Matt, how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I mean, it could be our own Jimmy G kind of situation here, which is completely fine. I mean, we see teams all the time try to buy in on these quarterbacks with very little experience. Jimmy G, Brock Osweiler, Matt Flynn, Josh McCown. You can go right down the line of guys who, Mike Glennon, like, this happens all the time. So, I mean, would it stun anyone if, like, I don't know, he plays semi-well for another 2 or 3 games, and then Joe Douglas was like, oh, I got a 2nd and a 4th round for him. And then it's just even more draft capital. So it's a win-win situation for the Jets right now, because 1, they're getting good quarterback play, and 2, it could become an asset either on the roster or in a trade.
Greenby, what about you? How are you feeling about the potential of maybe trading Mike White?
Well, it's funny. Joe S. Said in the chat, his value is like, now we should have just traded him right after the game. I mean, like,
I mean, it's certainly the most attractive option, I guess, right now. Without,
right? Trade him to the Colts. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's right. I think Matt put it really well. And like, look, here's the situation that we're in. Like, as the media tries to paint it as a controversy, really what it is we had a guy who no one believed in 3 days ago, except the Jets and me. But nobody believed in him. And he comes in, he plays out of this world. And we have some hope, and the fan base is buzzing and the team is buzzing, and a whole bunch of positive energy has been flowing into the organization. That's great. Now, we don't have Zach Wilson for 4 weeks. If Mike White plays well, and no matter which way they go, if they play with Zach and he plays well, Mike White does well in his 4 games, and he can be a trade chip. If Mike White steals the show and takes us to the playoffs and Tom Brady, the whole thing, let's say best case scenario, we have the number 2 overall pick, who was not given very much of a chance. I mean, shit, we just got a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th for Sam Darnold after 3 years of absolute train wreck play. Okay. So I think you could probably get another 1st for Zach in that scenario. So either way, I think it's good, man. As long as the team just keeps it cool and plays well, which is what I'm rooting for, I think it's a great situation, not a controversial situation.
Guys, we got 2 more qualifiers for our t-shirt giveaway at the end of the stream. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we're going to pick some more qualifiers. Delusional Jets fan and Jet Life 45, you're both qualified. for the t-shirt giveaway. And if you're listening to this after the stream has aired, drop a comment down below and you'll be entered into next week's t-shirt giveaway. So thank you guys for participating. I see you guys are talking in the chat about AVT being a Pro Bowler either this year or next year. I would prefer him to stay with football personally. I think if he goes on the Pro Bowling tour, it may not be great for the New York Jets. But yeah, no, I think he's playing himself right into a AFC guard spot potentially. John drops in with a super chat. He says top 2 positions to target in the first round of next year's draft. I love talking about this topic because I absolutely love the draft. And I know it's only the beginning of November, but for me, okay, so a lot of this hinges on what happens I shouldn't say a lot of it hinges on free agency, but a nice chunk of it does. Because for me, center is by far the most desirable position for me. I would love to get Linderbaum, the center from Iowa. Probably with the Seattle pick, I'm hoping that lands somewhere between 10 and 15. I think using a top 10 pick on a center, sort of kind of, I don't want to say it hurts me, but it's definitely not a high valued position across the NFL where it would definitely help us a lot. I think it would mean a lot to our franchise. With our other first round pick, I'm kind of flip-flopping back and forth. I really, really like the idea of adding a premier edge rusher. If we can get Thibodeau, that would be the choice. I think there's a really good shot he goes number 1 overall. So, whether or not the Jets wind up with that high of a pick is to be seen. I'd have to watch a little bit more on Hutchinson and some of the other top edge rushers. Those would be the positions I'd want to go. But if the Jets have, say, a top 5 pick, and the edge rushers aren't an option, I would prefer us to trade down that pick and accumulate maybe a pick in 2023, another first round pick there, and then maybe slide back from, say, like 3, 4, 5 down to, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in that realm. Matt, what about you? How are you feeling about our top 2 draft picks, and what positions would you ideally like to target?
Punter and safety.
No. Oh, I love it.
No, offensive line,
safety,
definitely. And for me, it's edge. I think that's a super important position for what this defense is trying to do. I think they need to add more to. I'm still a believer in Carl Lawson, by the way, too. I think he's going to come back and be fine, but I just think this defense really thrives on pressure, and adding even more so on the edge would just, really put it over the top. I don't think they're going to spend high on corner. I see that brought up a lot. I just don't think that's their philosophy on the position. I don't think they're going to put a first round pick into that. Not in the first round, but in the second round, I would look at tight end and linebacker at that point. Those are positions that I think definitely need to be addressed as well.
Green Bean, what about you? What are your top 2 positions in the NFL draft?
Matt's a smart fella, Matt puts things nicely. It was funny. Speaking of Matt, he sent me Matt's been doing that thing where he, he's bored and he asks Instagram questions. Hey, ask me questions and I'll answer, which I've been enjoying, by the way. I read all of them. I love it. Really, my wife's like, you should do that. I'm like, I can't. Matt's doing it. You know what I mean? I fucking can't jump on that like that. But I'll just read yours. But it was funny. You sent me that one. It was like, why does Green Bean think Kyle Hamilton will save us or some shit like that?
Yes.
He's like, he basically said like he won't. You know what I mean? Like, here's my take on that. Green Bean's an idiot. But it's funny. Like, look, and outside of that one player, I want to make it very clear to everyone listening. I'm not a fan of taking safeties in the first or usually even second round. I'm just not. You know what I mean? That said, Kyle Hamilton's a different discussion, but we could do that later. But I think the first position that we should go after is an edge rusher. And just like Matt said, I don't think Carl Lawson is going to be a guy who gets the Achilles injury and fades off into the distance. I think he's going to come back. So imagine having 2 premier style edge rushers and guys like Bryce Huff and Jabari Zuniga and JFM kind of rotating and keeping that defensive pass rush going, and Quinnen Williams and Fadu Kasi and all those guys. That's what you want. And then the cornerbacks can do a better job. Eccles will probably need to upgrade Eccles, I think, but I still think he's good to have on the team. But I agree. I think edge and probably I like the idea of drafting another offensive lineman in the first round, and I like the idea of taking a tight end in the first round. I know generally I wouldn't do that either, but if it's like a Freiermuth type of situation, like if Charlie Kolar's sitting there and we have the 18th pick, and I might pull the trigger on that, or Ruckert, or one of those guys. I might do that, but I think edge is the first position that I want to go after.
Yeah, I think it's a little premature for me to hammer it down too hard in one way or the other, but I think edge, and I think we're all in agreement, offensive line, specifically center for me. And I wouldn't be totally opposed. I see some other people talking about the tackle from Alabama. If you want to go friggin' heavy O-line, I'm all about it. Second round, I do think tight end for sure should be around there, second, third round. I think I would still try to target a cornerback in one of those 2 rounds. And then I'm kind of in that weird flux of, if we don't get an edge rusher in the first round, say we double dip at offensive line, do we try to get an edge rusher in the second round? Because like you guys, I'm excited for Carl Lawson to come back, but I don't want to put all my chips in his corner after an Achilles injury. He's such an explosive player that I think it's a long shot for him to come back as explosive. Now, I think he has the work ethic to come back. It's just, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
But linebacker, dude, linebacker is a sneaky, I shouldn't even say sneaky position in need, because it's clearly a position in need when CJ Mosley's not out on the field. Gerard Davis is, I believe, only on a 1-year contract, so we'll see how he progresses the rest of the year. Maybe he can earn himself a little bit of a deal here. Quincy Williams, I believe, is a free agent after this year. Another person to kind of keep an eye on as well. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do another draft stream with my 2 favorite co-hosts. Akeem Rutledge, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, this shows we have great playmakers. Oops, sorry, hold on. I skipped Ryan's super chat. Let me go back to that. Sorry, Mr. Rutledge. I will get back to you in just a moment. Ryan Antinori, words. Thank you for the super chat. He says, don't think we need an edge with Lawson coming back. I'm thinking Linderbaum and Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green, offensive line, is that right? I don't know.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I really haven't.
Yeah, offensive line, Texas A&M. Tackle. Yeah. Shows how much I'm paying attention to everything going on right now.
It's hard, man. I have a point to try to watch college ball, and I can't do it. Too much life going on. It's hard to devote an entire weekend to football. I'm always checking in. You know what I mean? It's hard to keep track of all this shit. For me, anyway.
For sure. I think all of us are probably on board potentially. Like, I don't think any of us would be overly upset if we went 2 offensive linemen, because now you have Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, let's say Linderbaum at center, and then you have, Green or Neal or someone like that at the right tackle spot. I mean, you still wind up with a weird guard position, but at that point you are so rock solid up front.
Yeah.
And I think it's almost like as much as we're trying to create an identity now, by drafting offensive linemen early and often and establishing a very tough line, I think that is sending a message. And I think you're about a unit that needs to be about cohesion. It's not just the wide receiver. It's not just the quarterback, a safety. Sorry, Green Bean. But like, it's not all about that one particular player. You're building a unit there. So Matt, how do you feel about 2 offensive linemen? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in my first way too early mock draft, that's what I did. I took Evan Neal, who I think is someone who would be like a top 5 kind of pick. With the Seattle pick, I went Linderbaum. And the thought process was that you could either find a guard in free agency or move McGovern to guard at that point. And I think like now you're really talking. I have no issue going offensive line. I know the Jets have made strides this past year, especially in addressing that position and adding depth to it, especially like just today with the trade. But it's outside of the quarterback. I think it's one of the most, if not the most important thing outside of quarterback. So I'm all about making sure that that's perfect so that your 22-year-old has a shot.
Green Bean, what about you going double dipping at offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna because we have too many holes. And don't forget, man, like, there's a lot that a lot of guys slip to the second and thirds, and it happens every year. There are guys that are so good that slip through. So I think they can address two positions. I think they'll be more valuable to the team. But if any general manager would do it, it might just be Joe Douglas. He might say, "I've had it. I've had it with the Cam Clark experiment. I've had it with these losers, Greg Van Roten, and Alex Lewis fucking retired on me." He might say, "Screw it. I'm just grabbing Evan Neal and Linderbaum and calling it a day." I mean, he might. I don't think so, though. I think realistically, I would be surprised if he did that. I think he might use one, though, and I think, dude, 3 years in a row, first round pick offensive lineman, that would be a first. I think it's already a first anyway for us too. It might be, but 3 would definitely be a
It
first.
can't be 2. We spent 2 on Brick and Mangold.
No, I mean 2 years in a row. First round pick. They were
loopholes.
the same year.
I see what you're talking about. I would say this. I think Joe Douglas prioritizes the trenches. So offensive line and defensive line. You saw him go out and get Carl Lawson. You saw him go out and get Sheldon Rankins. You saw him go out and get Vinny Curry. I think he's going edge rusher with the first pick. Hopefully it's Thibodeau if everything works out nicely. And then I think it'll be Linderbaum as the second pick. Or maybe a trade down and he gets – I think Linderbaum is the pick I want to have happen at some point in the first round, and then an edge rusher at some point, whether it's a trade down or stay up at our pick. I think that's kind of the way we wind up running it back that way. Mr. Rutledge, we're getting back to you and your super chat. He says, this shows we have great playmakers. If they can get the ball in their hands, Zach should sit and let White prove he can be consistent. I loved what we got out of our wide receivers, and it's a position in the group that we thought we were well set up at this year. When you look at the pass distribution, our top 4 receiving targets: Michael Carter, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, Ty Johnson. 4 guys that do their work right around the line of scrimmage. And I think they realize you get the ball in these playmakers' hands, then you don't have to worry about the quarterback getting sacked. You don't have to worry about the quarterback making a deep throw that could get picked off. I think this was the perfect game plan for a young first-time starting quarterback, and I would like to see it continue and allow our guys to make moves. Michael Carter, I'm sorry, this dude is legit. Like, I think he could be an Alvin Kamara type of back for us. He's really good, and I think he's only going to get better as our offensive line improves and as we can show that we can push the ball deeper and deeper down the field and kind of open up a little bit of space for him to get going. There was one run on the first drive from, I think it was Michael Carter. AVT was up at the second level. He had already pulled, and Van Roten was kind of chasing his guy across, and they showed it from like the quarterback's perspective. And I was like, oh, there goes the guy that's going to go tackle Michael Carter. We got the first down, we got 5, 6, 7 yards, whatever it was, but there was like 20 more yards beyond that if Van Roten had held that block. But yeah, look, I love our playmakers, and I think getting the ball in their hands is absolutely what we should be doing every week, regardless of who our quarterback is. Matt, your thoughts on our playmakers?
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with them outside of the tight end position. I think the wide receiver room is deep. I love the 1-2 punch of Michael Carter and Ty Johnson. I thought this past week was the perfect usage for them. I think they need to be utilized in the passing game more so, which is what we saw this past week. But yeah, I mean, you talked about it with Michael Carter. I don't know if he's going to be a star in this league, but I think he's going to be a damn good player, and at a minimum, a really nice back that you could rotate with another one and, be successful. But I think he's already proving that he can play at this level.
Greenby, what about you? How are you feeling about our playmakers? And we didn't even have Corey Davis out on the field.
I know. Well, look, man, as much as I like Corey Davis, I liked that we got a chance to see some other guys. I mean, how heartbreaking was that drop by Mims? Because he was having a good game. Don't forget, he had another 20-yard or so catch and run that was called back because Elijah Moore got called for holding and shit. And there was at least one play where Denzel Mims had a key block on a run. So he was out there, man. Him and Elijah Moore caught dude. That got the interception and ran it back 66 yards, which enabled us to get that goal line stand and everything. So, I mean, Denzel Mims was running around all over the place, and I think his trajectory is up. It sucks because he catches that touchdown 99 out of 100 times, and that would have given Josh Johnson a friggin' touchdown. I think that has something to do with it, man. Like, these guys get used to catching passes, whatever. You know what I mean? All those little intricacies have something to do with it. I think mostly they've made it being in the end zone a big deal for him, and a lot of times that shit can wear on you. It can affect you. But look, him dropping the touchdown doesn't mean anything. Jamar Chase dropped the touchdown in that game. It happens. Corey Davis has dropped 6 passes this year or something. So it doesn't mean anything. It was still heartbreaking. If he caught that touchdown, it all but cements his his name as a playmaker on our team. 3 receptions, 35 yards and a touchdown, whatever it would have been. So anyway, but I think I like our playmakers. Our issue has been getting the ball into their hands. You know what I mean? That's been our issue. How many times we've said that? Get the ball into Elijah Moore's hands in space, Crowder in space. Obviously Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, they're the big guys. They're the contested catch guys and all that. But I think the more that our offense can stay on the field, the more we'll see. We haven't been able to see much, only a few extended drives all year, man. In this game, we only punted 1 time. So we got to see the offense a lot. And I think that's what, when we looked at our playmakers, we saw a lot more potential, a lot more opportunity. But I mean, Michael Carter, dude, stud muffin. Look at Ty Johnson, too, who I'm not the biggest fan of. He's a liability in pass coverage, and he drops too many passes for me. But, dude, that run was clutch, so key. I was convinced he was out of bounds. And when they showed that little sliver of green, it was like, come on. That's the effort that you want to see. That's what separates the great teams and the good teams. It's that little extra bit of effort from the playmakers. And, hey, man, we showed that the guys can do it. Let's just see if they can do it consistently, man. But I like our guys. Like, that's what I've been saying. We have too much talent to get blown out 54-13, man.
William Malpika, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. You're asking how you could get a super chat in. You're commenting over from Facebook. If you go over to YouTube and you type in Jets Talk, you'll find the live stream. There is an option for super chat if you'd like to go over there.
You'll see a lot more chatting too on
a whole lot of chatting. You'll get involved with like a whole lot of chaos that's going in. Our YouTube community is very strong. The Facebook is more to get like
you're like alone
brought into the YouTube sphere. But yes, DS Jets, thank you so much for the super chat. He says late round pick, but ex-Jet Jim Leonard has a linebacker, Jack Sanborn at Wisconsin, who's an absolute stud. Garrett Wilson is also going to be a top 10. Is also going to be a top 10 year one? Top 10 year one? Does that make sense? Look, we need a linebacker for sure. And I love Jim Leonard. Jim Leonard was someone I was kind of hoping had an off chance at becoming our defensive coordinator.
That's right. I remember.
Would be awesome. I don't know anything about the linebacker class coming up this year. Matt doesn't either. Green Bean, any thoughts on the linebacker class, or just some guys will?
No, I don't really have too much yet on all that, but I'm with you. I think we need another linebacker too, man. And I liked seeing Jared Davis and CJ Mosley for the first time. That was good. I like Quincy Williams out there. He's good. But, I think Hamza Nasruddin comes back this week too, which will be nice to see him again. But I think we should be taking a 3rd to 5th round linebacker all the time, We need him.
Adam Gase. Mr. Adam Gase drops in, and he says, I signed Mike White September 25th of 2019. Just FYI. You are not our GM, Adam Gase. Joe Douglas did it. I think it takes a little bit of the sting, not really, off the James Morgan pick. But you know what, Adam Gase?
No, he didn't.
I'm very glad you're no longer with us. But I love
Adam Gase picked James Morgan, Ryan. That's what he did.
That's probably his like go-to, right?
Yeah. Remember we got killed for killing that pick, and now he's on Carolina.
Yeah,
dude, we roasted that pick. We're like, that made no sense.
Yeah, that pick was miserable.
Friggin' Florida Gulf Coast. Is that where it was?
No, FIU, man. FIU, Florida International University.
That's what it was.
Yeah, my wife went there.
Geez.
I told you, I used to go down there and watch the games. My son pissed his pants in the stands, and we had to leave one time, right?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he was little. He was a little kid,
right.
2 years old.
All the cool kids pee their pants.
All the cool kids.
If pee in your pants is cool, I'm Miles Davis.
Yeah,
I want you to give me some more Billy Madison quotes, so please drop those in there.
That was good.
V-Man.
That's a good one.
V-Man drops into the super chat. Thank you, V-Man. He says, that trade deadline, or words are hard. Now that the trade deadline has passed. I like us going forward. Saints, Colts, Houston, Dolphins ×2, Jags, Eagles, and second Bills games are all winnable. Yes, the second Bills game is definitely winnable because they might be resting starters. I think that is legit. The Eagles, I'm not sure what to make of them. I'm not super afraid of them, but they're kind of like an interesting team. The Jags, I feel like, are beatable. The Dolphins, I feel like, are beatable. Houston, I feel like, is beatable. The Colts and the Saints, I don't. I mean, I guess the Saints now, if they don't have Jameis and you're running it back with it's not Keenum. Who's their backup? It's
Taysom Hill.
No, Taysom Hill wasn't playing the other day.
Yeah. Trevor Siemian.
Siemian. There it is.
Siemian. Remember him?
If it's Hill, it's probably going to cause us a few more problems than Siemian, I would think. But yeah, look, some winnable games. So what is that? We're at 2-5. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. V-Man, are you saying 10 wins for the back half of the season? If you want to see me fucking go bananas, that's one way to do it, my friends. If that winds up happening, did you see the guy? There was a guy that said, if Mike White wins against Cincinnati, I'm going to get his jersey tattooed on my left butt cheek. He did it.
He did?
He got a number 5 tattooed on his butt cheek.
Who did? Wait, what did he say?
It was on Reddit earlier today. It was so the guy said that Mike White, if he wound up winning against Cincinnati, he would tattoo Mike White's jersey on his left butt cheek. And I think he just got a number 5. I don't know if he actually got White written on it or not. I didn't look super closely at it.
They have those sticker tattoos now. I see them all over Instagram. You just peel them off and they look real. So like you put them on your ribs and you go out to the beach, that kind of shit. That's what it is.
Green Bean.
Oh, sorry.
I want to pretend in my realm that is 100% true. I don't care about your reality. I'm living in my own.
Right. And I'm with you, man. I'm going to where you live.
Team Killer drops in the super chat, says, did we get reverse Mo Lewis? So Mo Lewis knocks out Drew Bledsoe, makes way for Tom Brady. Matthew Judon knocks out Mike White, knocks out Zach Wilson, makes way for Mike White. Could it potentially be a thing? Hey, you never know. I would say the luck is not necessarily on our side, but who knows? I guess real quick, getting back to V-Man's comments. Matt, how many of these games do you think seem winnable? Let me see if I can get V-Man's comment back.
Yeah, can you pull that back up if possible?
Let me see. It might have clicked through. Yeah, it clicked through already. Okay. All right, so it was Saints, Colts, Houston, Dolphins twice, Jags, Eagles, second Bills game. Second Bills game, I believe, is the last game of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm on the Colts yet. I know that's bad because it's 2 days away, but I don't have a great feel for that game. I still don't understand why the spread's 10.5. I think that is way too high. But Dolphins twice, yes. At least the home game for sure. Houston's winnable. The Philly's winnable. Saints is still going to be tough. That defense is really, really good. So I don't know if I'll go there. But there's at least, 5 games that I think they have a pretty good shot at taking.
Green Bean, what about you? How are you feeling about the Jets prospects the rest of the way out?
I think we got a good shot. Look, if this upbeat kind of try hard team shows up every week, I think we got a good chance of doing kind of what we were all talking about in the beginning, which is like a 6-8 win team. I think that would be fantastic, and I think it's realistic. We win one more, and we already beat last year, so there's that. But I think, like Matt said, that we have some winnable games, and if we catch just a little bit of momentum, I think we can do a few things and squeak a few of these out. But we have to remember, we got to keep thinking in perspective while I'm enjoying the hell out of this. That was a trap game. We trapped them. We have to know that, right? Like we have to know that. Like so it's not all what we see, you know. So it's like we just got to remember that. But I think we can win 5, 6, 7 games this year, sure.
Yeah, I also want to bring up that the NFL is big on letdown games. So, like, you have your Super Bowl, like the Jets had in 2010 against the Patriots. That playoff game, we came out so high, so energetic, so charged up that emotionally you kind of get drained. And Cincinnati going against the Ravens the week before, I think, may have drained them. I think the Jets being as bad as they were the week before probably snuck up on them. They didn't have any tape on Mike White. I think there's a lot of, like, what ifs going through everything that happened for us on Sunday. But you know what? You never know. You could definitely see it. If the Jets could get to, where are we at? We're at 2 wins halfway through the season. If the Jets can get to 6 or 7 wins and they look impressive, especially if Zach Wilson comes back and some of them look impressive, the Jets are going to be a hot team moving forward, especially with all the cap space we have, all the draft picks we have. I think there is a culture starting to shift, but you got to get the wins right now. Like I could care less about our draft pick. I would love, you know, the number 1, number 5 pick, whatever it is. But if we could win 5, 6 games and pick somewhere around 7, 8, 9, 10, I would much prefer that than losing games and just kind of, you know, hanging our head through the entire offseason. All right. Nose Kills drops in with a super chat. Nose Kills, how you doing, brother? He says, seriously, considering using my flex hours to watch the Colts game at 2 a.m. here in Finland, Green Bean probably has the experience to tell me how certainly that will jinx the Jets. Well, let me tell you this, Nose Kills. You can't jinx the Jets more than how I
right, or Matt buying jerseys.
I had free tickets to go to the Titans game.
Jersey.
Dude, I had free tickets to go to the Titans game. Green Bean. Phil offered it to us to go out to the Titans game. And I was like, you know what? Jets are going to lose. I'm not going to go to that game. I'm just going to enjoy it at home. Great game. Fantastic game. Didn't go to it. I had free tickets to go to Jets Bengals this past week. And guess who didn't go?
I'm telling you, man.
Don't worry. As long as I don't go to the game, I'm not jinxing anything. You're fine, Nose Kills.
Well, I think Rockaway, or I think it was Archie, right? Rockaway Archie. Forgive me if it's someone else. I'm fairly certain it's Rockaway Archie. He has season tickets and he's gone to every game. This was the first game he didn't go to, and he said, so he goes, so seriously, do I need to stop going? I'm like, yes. Actually, you do need to stop going. Matt needs to stop buying jerseys. Ryan can't go to any more games, and neither can you, Archie. That's the way.
Any
it goes.
games that I get free tickets to, totally different. Totally different.
Right. It's a good point.
I hope that's what it is. I mean, because, you know, your boy did go to the home opener too. And it didn't turn out so well.
Miserable.
So Nose Kills, absolutely. Stay up till 2 a.m. You and your fine land stuff you got going on over there. We like you for it. Let's see. I saw another one.
You got to just have a counteractor, Ryan. You know, do you have any good luck stuff? Like we used to turn our jerseys inside out at halftime. You know, you got to have some sort of counteractor.
Oh, I do, and I haven't done this. I have to get it from my dad because it's in Florida. I'm actually going to Florida this next Friday. So when we used to go to the games, we found. I remember being at this carnival when I was a kid. It was me, my grandma, and my grandpa, and I found this little metal horn. It's like this weird, like almost looks like a tiny trumpet. No buttons or anything, just a silver horn that goes around and you blow in one end. Or it's supposed to have like a ball. You're supposed to honk it. It's probably a clown horn or something like that. I found it on the ground at the fair and I was like, this is amazing. This is the coolest thing. And for friggin' years, I brought that to Jet games from like 2000 right through till probably 2008 when we stopped going to the Jet games as season ticket holders. And that was just, for whatever reason, whenever we had it, the home games, it just felt like it worked. So that, for me, is my anti-taboo. It's that little squeaky horn. So I gotta ask my dad, make sure he still has
You
that.
gotta get it, man. You gotta get the
I'm gonna blow it the next time I'm on the live show. I was like, dude!
Yeah,
It's
I
goofy,
tried.
but, dude. It was that, and I always had a bag of Skittles. Those are the two things I took with me.
See, dude, have you had Skittles all year?
I have not had any Skittles. I tried to go
Right?
to Halloween
What is
candy.
this?
We're going to talk Halloween candy in just a second. But I tried to get
Yeah.
Halloween candy and get Skittles. I was like, oh, you know what? We'll get a few trick-or-treaters, but I want to make sure I have enough to eat for myself.
Mhm.
And I went out, obviously, the day before Halloween because I'm a last-minute kind of guy. And I got Three Musketeers and York peppermint patties, which I love both of them. But apparently the kids in my neighborhood like the peppermint patties a lot more, and I guess I'm weird for liking Three Musketeers. So I'll ask you guys, before we get to 10 Diamond Super Chat, Green Bean, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
Well, let me just, this is a loaded question. So let me just say that I am a huge fan of Three Musketeers. All right. They are underrated. A lot of people throw them. They just like forget them, and I'll take them. Give me your Three Musketeers and Milky Ways and shit. I love those things. My favorite candy is probably peanut M&Ms. I love opening a bag and dumping the whole bag in my face. But if like I'm a chocolate guy, right? But so if I get Skittles and Starburst and shit, I always wait till the end. I save all my fruits till the end, and then I'll get like 3 bags of Skittles, pour all 3 bags in my mouth, and chew on it for about 3 minutes. I like that, and then I eat the Starburst. Fruit to the end, it like clears my palate or some shit. I do it every time since I'm a kid. I don't know what that is, but yeah, I'd say I love peanut butter cups, Kit Kats, all that shit, but peanut M&Ms, when I see those, it's special.
So Steezus in the chat drops in with a super chat. And I'm not going to throw it up on the screen because I got other comments to do. But he says, "Wow, such a cute story about the horn and the thing at the Jet game." So thank you, Pat, one of my buddies that moved down to South Carolina. Very cool. Thank you for tuning in. I'm looking at the chat. I see a lot of people. Larry Romano, I think you and I are one of 2 people on the planet that thoroughly enjoy candy corn.
Oh,
People
you're disgusting.
hate candy corn. Hate candy corn. Becca doesn't like it. She uses it as decoration. She's like, oh, let me do this. I'll throw these in a jar. She comes down. I'm playing some Back for Blood. I'm like slicing up zombies and all these things. And there's like half the candy corn left in the jar after that. And I've mowed through probably 3 different jars of candy corn in the last 3 weeks. So Larry, I'm right there with you. Matt, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
That is such a difficult question.
Actually, you know what? I didn't say it before. Green Bean said peanut M&Ms. I love pretzel M&Ms. That is my
they're good.
Chocolatey, salty, just delicious.
Do you guys know why they call them candy corns? They don't look like corns. Do you know why?
I would love to get some knowledge dropped on me.
I'll tell you right now. I'm going to show you. It fucking blew my mind. Watch this. This is why. You ready? See it?
No way.
Yeah. Wait, can you
What?
guys see it? Is it blurry?
That's why it's candy corn?
Yeah, you see how they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they put that in a banana?
No, but yeah, probably. But that's why. Like, that's what it's doing. That's what a candy corn is.
That's brilliant.
Isn't it crazy? Wait, let me see.
Yeah,
there
right?
might be some other ones too.
Matt could not have said it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, look.
I'm at a loss for words.
You see, like, there's the cob. Like, that's how they go. Isn't that crazy, man? Can you guys see it well? It's not blurry.
Yes.
How are you supposed to eat them like that?
Well, you
just
can't
gotta put them
but
in a
it's
banana.
like,
I got a banana
that's
downstairs.
why-
I'm gonna find some candy corn and start throwing throwing them in like that. Jeez, I'll be 30.
mind blowing,
32.
isn't it? I was
And
like,
this
get
just-
out of here.
Blew my mind. Mind.
I think can I give you like a chocolate candy and then like a non-chocolate candy? I feel like that's the only way that I can answer this. I'm gonna go Snickers for the chocolate candy, and for the I don't know, the non-chocolate. Well, I don't know what you would regular candy. I guess I'm gonna go Skittles.
Ooh, I
Love me some Skittles.
I love Skittles.
I love the pink Starburst too. They're a little,
pink.
gooey, I guess. Like
Really? That's my least
what's your
favorite one.
Green Bean.
Red.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
red.
hold on.
All day.
Hold on.
Red-
Wait,
red-
let me just fix this real quick. Let me just turn off. I'm going to turn off Green Bean real quick. Let's let the adults have a big conversation here. Matt, talk to me. Why is the pink Starburst the best, and why is Green Bean wrong? Go.
No, you see, I'm gonna go red and pink at the top. I might give a slight edge to red, and yellow and orange are like bottom of the barrel. I would not give that to my worst enemy. Yellow and orange starburst.
Really? So I like pink. I think anything red, like the red dye taste, like the fake cherry kind of taste.
Oh, I love it.
It destroys me. Hate it. There's a guy that comes into the. Sorry, I got to unmute Green Bean. There's a guy that comes into the pro shop that like he goes, oh, I'm gonna get a Gatorade and I'm gonna pick the best color. And I was like, oh, it's blue. I know. I'll get it for you. And he goes, no, red. And I was like, what? I was like, what kind of crazy stuff is this? Red is not the best Gatorade. It's blue.
No, it's
blue is a flavor. It's its own thing.
Nah, I'm all green on the Gatorades. I like the straight up original since a kid. When they only had one flavor, that's the one I like.
Are you talking like the lemon lime
The lemon
yellow
lime.
or?
Yeah. No, lemon lime. I don't like all the new Frost and aggression, all these crazy names. I like lemon lime, orange,
Glacier Freeze
red.
is
Glacier
awesome.
Freeze is god tier.
It tastes exactly how I'd imagine licking a glacier feels like.
That's amazing.
All right, we're getting off track here. Sorry. Let's talk about some stuff. The chat's going crazy with all the different stuff in here.
Yeah, toasted almond, Jeremy. I'm with you.
10 diamonds. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Oh God, we're so off topic. Hey fellas, I think Mike White showing out and getting Joe puts some competition in for Zach. I think Zach's the guy, but maybe this helps him step up. If he folds, then in my opinion, he isn't the guy. I completely agree. If Zach Wilson can't handle competition, being in the NFL, being the number 2 overall pick, he's not the right guy for the job. And we got the wrong pick, unfortunately. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the attributes that Wilson has, the speed, the arm strength, the off-script plays, if we can just get him to play on script, I think any doubt in Zach Wilson is going to go right out the window, and I think he's going to be a phenomenal quarterback. But I do think having White perform well is a wake-up call for Wilson. I think he'll be able to see how the offense should operate, how efficiently it will operate, and hopefully we can see continued calls, like we saw on Sunday when Zach Wilson gets back in the game. So, Matt, I'll throw it to you. How do you feel about Mike White and the competition it creates with Zach?
Yeah, I think it's all a good thing. And I don't look at Zach as someone who's going to fold under the competition. He did lose his starting job at BYU. Granted, it was a while ago. But he's not – the thing that I don't like with Zach Wilson, yes, he did come from a rich family, but everyone assumes that he is like this spoiled brat and everything's handed to him, which really isn't the case. I'm not saying this is what 10 Diamonds is saying either, but just that this is what the comment reminded me of. So I don't think that he's the type of guy who's going to see someone play well and be like, well, that's it, I'm mailing it in. Like it's over kind of a guy. So, I mean – yeah, I think competition's a great thing. I love that Mike White's playing well, and I hope that he plays well again this week. And then Zach wants to beat his ass at practice every day.
Green Bay, what about you? How you feeling about the competition between Mike White and Zach Wilson?
I completely agree. If you guys didn't get a chance to hear Mike White's his post-game press conference, it was excellent, man. Like, I just felt like every answer he had was not only like the fun excitement of a young guy who just did well, it was also an appropriate answer. And one of the things that he said was Zach was the most excited guy for him. Don't forget, Zach, I mean, and I read this, I didn't see it, but I read this. Zach was up in the booth with LaFleur. So you had John Beck, Kavanaugh, Calabrese on the field with Mike White. And you had Mike LaFleur with Zach Wilson up in the booth, which is incredible, man. Like, so I don't think that Zach is some soft little kid who's going to cringe either, man. I just don't take him that way. And the best thing that could happen is that these guys make each other better. You know, that old thing we heard all off season with Lawson and Becton, iron sharpens iron. It's true, man. There's a lot of places in my personal life where we use that saying. It's like competition breeds success, man. And like, so when you have someone who can stop you from becoming complacent, that is a good thing. And if they do that with each other, all the better for us, man. Adding John Beck to the mix, all the better for us. Calabrese and Kavanaugh getting comfortable, all the better for us. The more minds, the more support, the better. I love this situation, and I think it's positive, man. I don't think Zach's going to cringe. I think, just like Matt said, if Mike White's lighting it up, come on out and beat him.
So I see Curly Norman in the chat. He says, I'm a big Airheads fan. Little story about Airheads. Not story, but what I do with Airheads. I learned it as a kid. If you take the 1M, so you have the whole... there it is. He knows it. The people in my pro shop had no idea what I was doing. I was like, no, you got to try this. And you start shaking the Airhead, and it turns into a little ball of like high octane espresso level sugar at the bottom of it. And then you pop it in your mouth and you just chew on it. It's like a little ball of sugar. So if you don't do that, now you should. Johnny Morowski. Johnny Morowski. Wow. Man, words are hard. I'm going to get better at English by the time this live stream.
Yeah.
I'm getting thank you for the super chat. He says, as a psychologist, I'm clinically diagnosing you as being crazy for liking Three Musketeers. It's a trash candy. LOL. Go Reese's peanut butter cups.
Those are good.
It's chocolate nougat. Nougat. I don't even know what nougat is. It could be some fancy like slurm thing.
What is it?
Where it comes out of a worm's butt. I have no idea where nougat comes from, but it's delicious.
Nougat. I'm gonna look it up.
No, he was our kicker. We drafted him in the first round, right, or second round?
Yeah, nougat. Hey, listen, it's funny. I was at my son's game, which is why I couldn't have a live stream for this past week. I had to go. I was at my son's game and I watched the Jets game there and everything. But it was Halloween day, right? It was literally Halloween, so there was candy everywhere, and there was this peanut butter cup. I went to go take a leak, and I walked off the bleachers, and there was this super flat, completely wrapped peanut butter cup. It had been stepped on like, I don't know, 100 times. It was completely flat, but still wrapped, and you can feel it, and it was still in there. And I held it in my hand, and I thought about it. I was like, this is clearly still good. There's no holes. I examined the whole package,
Smart man.
and then I threw it on a table, and I didn't eat it. And then I came back, and somebody had moved it. So like it was not on the table anymore. It was like a little further up. So I know other people were looking at it. And it's funny, man. I saw it kept getting moved. So everybody was like going, and nobody could pull the trigger.
Maybe.
But that's how good peanut butter cups are. They made everybody think about eating one you found on the ground.
Dude, I'm not a peanut butter guy at all. Chocolate and peanut butter I'll do. So like Reese's Cups, they're not my first go-to, but I understand why people like them. Peanut butter M&Ms, I like those. Again, not my first thing. I don't know why I'm not a peanut butter guy. Like even as a kid, I ate jelly sandwiches, not peanut butter and jelly. Kind of weird. I guess. Yeah, well, I was a weird kid. I think my dad was super picky growing up, and it just kind of rubbed off on me. For some weird reason, like, I was a big macaroni and cheese and ketchup guy. Like, now I just kind of have macaroni and cheese by itself because I'm an adult. But I don't know. It's just, it's weird. There's weird things that people do. In the chat, let us know some weird shit that you do. Not your kinky stuff. Get rid of that. But, like, weird food things. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear, like, pull my hair. Richard Delgado drops in with a super chat. Thank you, Rich. He says, why would the Jets go after LDT if they already have the GOAT GVR? Look, competition, iron sharpens iron. Clearly, we have the best right guard in the game, and we wanted to give him the second best right guard in the game, and we wanted them to go at it against each other. That's your answer. I'm sticking to it. Matt, your thoughts?
I hope this is sarcastic, Richard. Those are my thoughts.
Greenbean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the joke he already gave us the joke. It's hard to go from there. Seriously, I think it's a good move, but yeah, you don't really need him because Greg Van Roten is so good, but still could use him, I suppose.
Okay. So now I got to go through the chat and just see some of these weird things. So Beeg says Ryan just called ketchup. Yeah. I also call crayons. Sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. CRANS. Crayons. That's what I color with.
Yeah, my wife says that. Crayons. Crayons.
Weird. I don't know. It doesn't make
crayon
sense to me.
Like it's spelled.
Yeah.
It's
my wife's like, what do you say?
Crayon. It's just you guys are wrong.
Crayon.
It's okay to be wrong.
Cranberry.
Everybody says Kit fucking cats. I love that. Funny Bones.
What's a funny bone?
Is that
funny
the
bone?
bones?
It's like a chocodile, but with peanut butter in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I'm definitely wrong on that. Our buddy Nick says, Ryan, I was also a jelly sandwich kid. Raspberry for life. Raspberry is a great flavor. I'm not a big like grape fan. Like I like grapes, but I don't like artificially flavored grape. So I guess I like grape.
Nor
jelly.
do I.
Like,
I don't like grape.
I'm not a big like
So you're not. So
grape
you would
soda.
grape jelly? Would you? What kind of?
Oh no, I like grape jelly. Raspberry jelly,
jelly's good.
strawberry jelly.
Yeah. Which kind of jelly were these jelly sandwiches?
Oh man, I mean, it's probably a whole bunch. I'm sure it was grape. I'm sure it was raspberry. I'm sure it was like I had a bunch of jelly growing up. I like legitimately had this till I was like in middle school and like I understood what stuffed crust pizza was. And like Friday was like my stuffed crust pizza day, and I was just like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Me and my buddy, we're very like, we butt heads with like stupid stuff like this. We almost came to blows one time when he told me that he thought strawberry jelly was better than grape jelly. So
I'm sorry.
To throw that stance out there.
Hold on. Let me just turn Matt off real quick. And Green Bean, talk to me. Tell me why strawberry jelly is so much better than grape jelly.
No, I can't say that. I do love strawberry jelly.
But the show solo. Sorry. Grape jelly is not better than strawberry jelly. I am sorry, you two.
When you're like this or no?
I'm sorry.
Can you still hear me when it's like that?
No, I turn it off. Everything is muted. No one can hear anything. This is my show, motherfuckers. No,
I have learned to appreciate good strawberry preserves. You know what I mean? Like I've learned, especially traveling, like when you go around, there's all these little farms and shit, and they make their I like real fruit preserves and jellies and jams and all that shit. But the staple is grape jelly for me. That's what it is.
Really?
Yeah.
It's just weird to me. No, I shouldn't say it's weird. I like grape jelly. I have no problems with grape jelly. Just, strawberry and raspberry is kind of cool. I mean, I guess maybe if you don't like the seeds in your teeth, like that's fair. That's probably a fair argument.
They're all grape is the only legitimate one. The other ones are gimmicks.
Ryan says jelly sandwiches like in SpongeBob. Yes. Larry says mac and cheese with a can of stewed tomatoes is good. Mac and cheese with ketchup is basically pasta sauce with sugar. So I'm not wrong.
It is though. That's crazy.
It is a little wrong. It's okay. I'm going all off the rails tonight. Sorry. 10 diamonds. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, to be clear, I think he is the guy and he will step up. I don't think he is the guy to give in. To be clear, I think he's the guy and he will step up. I don't think he's a guy to give in, but he does strike me as a kid to overthink. Him saying he was overthinking the small throws, hours of film. Hope this isn't the case. So he's talking about Zach Wilson and the competition between Mike White. And will Zach Wilson overthink about it? Yes, absolutely. He's going to overthink it. Because I'm sure right now it's on a very minuscule level. This is the Zach Wilson is Carson Wentz. Mike White is Nick Foles. And the city's going bananas because Mike White looks like a hero after an abysmal game the week before. And I think there could be there's definitely a part of Zach Wilson on the most honest level that is probably thinking oh man, I really wish that didn't happen. Now there's going to be all this stuff going on. And I think there is probably something to that. I think anyone would feel that way. I think it's a human reaction. But I think Zach was the number 2 overall pick, and I think he's a quarterback, and I think he understands it. He's been in quarterback competitions before. This isn't the first one. So I don't think he's going to let it affect him. Will I think he'll overthink it? Yeah, I do think he will. Matt, what do you think?
Sorry, I was distracted because my video finally scheduled, by the way. Just wanted to give that update.
Oh, there it is.
Really quick.
There you go.
I do think I agree with Ted. I think he is definitely in his head. And I think him kind of just sitting back and not relaxing, but just not being, the hyper intense over the next couple of weeks here might do him some good. So I'm with 10 on this one.
Green Bean, what about you? How are you feeling about Zach Wilson overthinking the Mike White success?
Well, I don't know, overthinking the Mike White success. I actually think that this might cause him to stop overthinking. You know what I mean? He's watching somebody take the checkdowns. One of the things that that Zach has had an issue with is kind of playing hero ball. You know what I mean? Not taking the check down to try to squeeze it to the 18-yarder, all that kind of stuff. I think seeing the offense operate could just be like, all right, you know what? It's not as hard as I'm making it. Like, so I think it could affect him that way, because I think Zach is somebody that's overthinking it. I mean, it's clearly, you know damn well he can throw it 8 feet away from him. You know he can do that, but he hasn't been able to for some reason. That's this. It has nothing to do with his physical skills. Nothing. We know he could do that. So I think he is suffering from overthinking. But watching Mike White, and like Matt said, sitting on the bench for a couple weeks, just, you know, getting out of the spotlight and just kind of relaxing and looking at it through a different lens, I think it could be very beneficial for him. And again, I think that Mike White making it look easy, I may be like, shit, why aren't I just doing that, man? Those guys have been open 100 times. Why aren't I just hitting them? So I think that it can go that way.
I see some guys saying that Matt's audio doesn't sound good. I think Matt's audio sounds fine. Let us know in the chat if you think Matt's audio sounds fine.
I'm still in a shithole hotel. That's probably why.
Are you using a microphone?
Or has your magical?
No, it's my cell phone.
That's exactly it. Your cell phone. It's not your magical audio setup that made me fall in love with you the first time I spoke with you.
Yeah,
Matt, they hold you to a high standard, dude. You know what I mean?
I step away from the beautiful microphone, and suddenly my charm goes away.
Right.
Joe S says ketchup sandwiches. That's the line from Step Brothers, isn't it? Like it smells like onions and ketchup sandwich. Is that what it is? Sorry,
I don't know.
I'm on a tangent.
I like salad dressing sandwiches. I used to do that in rehab. Like, and when you're in rehab and shit at night, they'll have like a kitchen, like detoxes and stuff, and they'll just be like some white bread and like salad dressing and mayonnaise and little packets. So you're hungry and that's all you got. So you just make a salad dressing sandwiches. And from there, I started going, those are good. And I started eating them at home.
That is weird. Like, how do I bring up ketchup on mac and cheese and jelly sandwiches and salad dressing sandwiches don't come up in the topic, Green Bean?
I don't know. Hold on, I'll fix it.
Looney Tunes. Big Joe, thank you for the super chat. He says Fluffernutters was his favorite. Can you bring me a battery? Oh, shit. Handy. Fluffernutter, I always thought was just the whipped marshmallow that you like put on. I don't know. You just put it on stuff, I guess. Fluffernutter. Is that actually like a candy?
Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't know that. Fluffernutter. So we used to do. We were in home ec in middle school, right? And me and my other buddy Kevin, and Rafe. There's three of us. Sorry, math hurts right now. We're sitting in home ec, and they're like, okay, as a class, we have to decide on what we're gonna make and sell to the rest of the school as like our kind of tricky tray sort of thing, raise money for whatever class we were doing. So I was like, all right. I want to make something that we're going to call crack. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm going to name the best stuff and just put it together. And like, it's obviously going to be good. And it was like, I think it was like saltines, chocolate, butter, fluffernutter. Like, it was just like all this crazy stuff. And like literally the entire school found out about it. And we sold out of everything. Our home ec teacher was so pissed off at us for coming up with this like totally obscure, like random ass fucking like food that we just made up. But yeah, there's that. So fluffernutter. Green Bean, do you know anything about fluffernutter? Is that a candy or is it just a spread? I can't hear you. Oh wait, I muted you. Did I mute you? I didn't think I muted you. I muted you. Sorry. Now you're unmuted.
All right. Yeah, I'm fairly certain that fluffernutter is a marshmallow spread, like fluff. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's
maybe I'm wrong.
I wasn't going crazy.
Let's see. I'm gonna find out right now.
Richard from Jersey says boysenberry. Frankie from Flatbush says, why are we not talking about Jamaican beef patties? Total side note. If you guys, I learned this the other day and I did not eat it. I wasn't offered it, but I learned a story. If you are ever offered, what is the name of it? It is Rocky Mountain oysters. If you are ever offered Rocky Mountain oysters and say, hey, you got to try this, don't, for the love of God, do it. Do not do it. And you're going to take that at my word. And if you guys want to look it up and figure out what Rocky Mountain oysters are, I'll let you know. It's bull testicles.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain oysters are bull testicles, and you don't want to do it. Ugh, terrible.
No, never.
Well, actually,
Never
no,
fall
maybe
for
they're
that
delicious.
one.
I've never had them, but luckily
Yeah, I
I
don't
heard
give
the
a shit.
story before I found out about Rocky Mountain oysters. All right, Mitt Flair, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, at what point do we start thinking about the Colts? Honestly, Mike White dink and dunked his way to success. Yes, he did. Look, we talked about it earlier. He had, 28 passes within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage or behind. So the recipe for success, it may very well be that same thing, but I do think the Colts are much better sideline to sideline. I think Leonard is a phenomenal linebacker in this league, and I think he's going to cause us a whole lot of issues. Now, potentially because of how the Jets played last week, maybe they won't pin their ears back and come after us as far as the pass rush is concerned. So maybe there's a situation where Mike White can throw a little bit further down the field. Maybe they open it up a little bit. But yeah, look, the Colts are a much different team than Cincinnati, and they have tape on Mike White and what the Jets did last week. So I don't know if the same thing is going to happen this week, but we'll see. Matt, how do you feel about the dink and dunk offense?
I think he's going to have to adjust. Like we kind of said earlier in the stream, he didn't really get the ball down the field. His average depth of target was about 4 yards. So that's going to have to go up, I think, for the Jets to be competitive against the Colts.
Greenbean, what about you? How do you feel about the dink and dunk?
Well, here's what I can tell you, that we lost at least 4 of our games from exactly that game plan. So we can die by it. We can live by it. And I do agree with Matt. Like, we can't come out and have the same game plan. Like, we're going to have to do different things. But let me tell you something. When they're available, when your running back peels off into the flat, hit him. When your tight end peels off his chip, hit him. Get 6 yards, get 9 yards. Do it all day. Keep them up there. And hopefully Mike White can actually hit the deeper stuff, the 20 to whatever yard. If he can do that and we can, kind of loosen them up, that shit's going to be available all day. There's a reason that screens are so successful in this league. And not only screens, like I said, just the running backs and tight ends peeling off their blocks and functioning as just an emergency option for the quarterback. Dude, Mike White doesn't seem afraid to hit that stuff. And if he does all day again, I could care less. Because like I said, that was predominantly how we lost. We got our ass and we couldn't cover it. So, hey, we can lose 4 games like it. We can win 2. I don't care.
I love it. I think the Colts are going to be a tough win because I think the running back, which I thought they were going to do with Mixon, they didn't really throw the screen that much. I think Jonathan Taylor is a tough back to defend against. And I think this will be a big test for our defense for sure, especially since McCaffrey and McNichols gave us such a hard time earlier in the season. Robbie Oak, you've been qualified for a t-shirt we're going to be giving away in just like 5 minutes time. For every 25 likes we get on this video, we are going to pick a t-shirt qualifier in just a few minutes. So make sure you drop a like as you're hanging out with us. We have over 350 people hanging out in the stream right now. Slugo, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, this is becoming a camaraderie. I like it. Good atmosphere. Dude, if you haven't been here before, glad you're tuning in because we have this every Tuesday. This is like I legitimately have a blast with these two guys and the chat. The chat tonight has been on point. Let me just say that. We always have a good chat, but this one tonight is just flying through, and it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. So Slugo, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, this is my favorite show, man. Getting to hang with you guys. It's very comfortable, easy. You know what I mean? We're loose with each other.
Agree.
I've been calling this Talking Jets for like a year and a half now, and I feel like we should change it to what O'Leary said and just call it Jets Therapy. We're gonna have to have some new kind of icon as like the logo and stuff, and maybe it's just a little chair and you're laying back and
I need to go back to my bed.
Dr. O'Leary or Dr. TDL or whatever the hell his initials are is talking to you. I don't know. That's why we traded for him. We wanted free prostate exams. That's that was on the show last week. That's what's going now. 312-pound guy or 321-pound guy. I don't know if you want a finger from that guy. Sorry. Oh, God, this is bad. All right. So we are getting towards the end of our show. I have a bunch of qualifiers. Let me see. Okay. I got to pick one more qualifier. So right now our qualifiers are Zachary Berner, Big Block Joe, Larry Romano, Joe S, Jet Life 45, Delusional Jets fan, Cyber Systema, Slugo, Robbie Oak, and sorry, got to pick another one because Slugo was picked twice. No doubles. Let's see what Nightbot decides to do. I wish I really understood what Nightbot does because it makes no damn sense to me. Emanon. I know there is something with how frequently you guys interact with the chat. That's kind of how Nightbot picks these guys. So I guess these guys are pretty active in our chat. So I'm going to ask Matt, can you go? Actually, no. Sorry, you're on your phone. Greenbean, can you go back to the last Talking Jets panel that we did? And we're going to go through the chat and we're going to pick some qualifiers. Guys, if you're tuning in, you're at the very end of this stream, leave a comment on our video down below and you'll be qualified for next week's stream. Even any of you guys in the chat. If any of you guys in the chat want to be qualified, just drop a comment afterwards. Helps the algorithm, helps this get out to more people, and you get entered to win a cool shirt. Or who knows? Check this out. I had this great idea for a shirt. And I didn't think the turnaround time would be that good. I was going to pay someone to go do it. But I wanted to do like a great white shark versus Wall Street Wilson and have like a Godzilla style like t-shirt idea.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then like I just didn't follow through with it because I was like, it's going to be Thursday. By the time I get this design back, it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I'll have paid fucking $50 or $60 to have some flop of a design made.
Yeah.
All
right. So what do you want me to do here?
John Post. Oh, John Post. I see. He says, wow, no love for my membership chat I sent. I love you, John Post. He says, look what a win does. Great show tonight. That you're right. Anytime the Jets win, that's what all us Jet content creators are waiting for. We're waiting for like that one season where the Jets actually do well and like the channels just take off. Because, 3 years into doing this and making videos on a 1-15, 2-14 team, just
not good.
Not super thrilled. No, not fun.
It's crazy.
Green
so wait, you want me to? You want me to look at that pinned comment with all the names? Is that what it is?
No. I have those names written down. But scroll down and let's see. Pick 5 names in your head, and you let me know. Actually, no. Say the names. Say the names.
Yeah,
I'll put them on my list for tonight.
Say them out loud. Actually,
we'll say it for last week's stream. Say those are for last week's. So
all right, let's do Sonny Miller. SONNY Miller. Sonny Miller.
Okay.
Let's do WTF ? Exclamation point. Where's the flag?
Okay.
Let's do Bill Liebold. LIEBOLD. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. What was that, 4?
That was 3, I think.
Oh, okay. Let's do TD. Just 2 letters, T space D.
Okay.
And let's do Eric Craig, ERICCRAIG.
All right. So we're going to play a little game of odds or evens, and we're giving away 2 shirts tonight because we got cut short last week, right as we were about to give out the shirt. So guys, on the count of 3, we're going to do odds or evens, and everyone holds up an odd or even number. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're going evens. So you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, you're gone, and you're gone. All right, odds or evens. 3, 2, 1. Evens.
I'm surprised it took me that long to do that joke.
That's amazing. I can't believe it's taken that long too.
Oh,
All right, odds or evens. 3, 2, 1. What is that? 5, 6 evens. All right. See, it is hard to count. All right, we're down to 2 names for last week's T-shirt. 3, 2, 1. Matt, one finger.
Yeah.
Okay. 4. All right, Mike Bruno. Mike Bruno, you're going to be our T-shirt winner from last week, and we're going to do this again for our qualifiers for this week. All right. So odds or evens. 3, 2, 1. Odds. Okay. Let's see what we got. Odds or evens. 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh, that's a lot of fingers, Green Bean.
I
7,
know.
8, 9, 10. Evens. Figured it out. Didn't even have to
Yeah.
count on my hands. All right, we're down to 3 names. We got Big Block Joe. We got Delusional Jets Fan. And we got Emanon, NYNV. 3, 2, 1. Odds. Ooh. Delusional Jets Fan. Delusional Jets Fan, you're going to be our winner for tonight's giveaway.
There he goes.
For the stream.
Good.
Thank you so much for hanging out. So Mike Bruno, your winner from last week. Reach out to me on social media. JetsTalk247@gmail.com. Delusional Jets Fan, same thing for you. Let's get you guys hooked up with a shirt. Get me your info. We've hit the end of our stream. So let's talk a little bit around the panel. Let's give our closing thoughts. Green Bean, I'll kick it to you first. Any last words for our panel tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna do the after hours Jets Fest after this. I have Lawrence Owen from Colts Law coming on. He runs an excellent Colts podcast, so he'll be hanging out with us. You guys should come check it out, man. 10:30 on Green Bean Jets Fan YouTube.
Matt, any last words for the panel?
New episode of Just Jets tomorrow. Please watch it because it took 3 hours to upload.
Guys, it has been a lot of fun. This was a fun stream. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I like Victory Tuesdays because that's what this winds up being, because we wind up having a good time and the chat's on fire. You guys are the best. Seriously, the strongest YouTube community out there. Guys,
Absolutely.
my name's Ryan. I've been your pilot. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS. That was fun.
Yeah, that
was good.
Dude, the after win streams are always the best because everyone